Welcome to the show. It's the Monday Night Euro review. As always, I'm Ruairi, Chris Squalo, and I am joined for the first time this season, Italian champion Tommaso Adami from Inter Milan.
Una mischia, può dare il capitano, carica il destro, il tiro, e gol, 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 il capitano!
Lo sai per un gol, io darei la mia vita, in fondo lo so.
Lighters up, guys. It's happening. 19 Scudettos. The drop. Let's go. Oh my God,
You've done
Rory.
it, boys. You've done it.
Woo! It's happened. Inter Milan have been mathematically crowned Italian champions for the first time since 2010. It's been 11 years. I'm not even sure I had lost my virginity the last time that we won our Scudetto. So many things have changed in everybody's lives. The majority of the people that we saw celebrating yesterday were kids. They didn't know what this meant. I am so happy for our people. I am so happy for the club. And I'm forever thankful to our captain, Antonio Conte, in this journey and his boys. Not only the 11 on the pitch, even those sitting on the bench all these months, not even getting a chance to play. And I'm thankful for all the staff, from the people in the storage room of the kids, whatever it's called, up to the guys that put the pitch in order. We're Italian champions, Campioni d'Italia, number 19. Rory, it was a fun day yesterday.
It was a great day. It was a really great day. There was a part of me, like, I was sat in the pub with the lovely lady, and I was thinking, oh, I really hope they don't do it today. I want it to be next Saturday so I can go hard and we can, like, party. Can't really party on a Sunday, but it turns out you can party on a Sunday when Inter just won the league. It ramped up pretty quickly, but it was great to be in Duomo when it wasn't too busy. And Tommi, with his great foresight, managed to get us out of there before it got horrific.
It was Michael. We have to thank our friend Michael. He said, let's just leave. It's going to get scary. Let's go somewhere cooler. We found a beautiful square in Colonne. If you're familiar with Milan, nobody cared about the Scudetto there. It was just me and Michael looking like absolute clowns. I was wearing this hat yesterday. I cannot wear it today because of the headphones, but listeners can't see it. You can find the video on YouTube. It's like a wizard hat, I would call it. I don't know.
I did say the thing at the time, like, if you've ever seen Friends, the episode where Joey is just covered in the Porsche things, trying to convince people he owns a Porsche. Tommi looked like he was sponsored by Inter in a crowd of people, as you mentioned, that could not give a shit about football. But that made it even better, I think, because we were able to just relax, breathe, and take in Milan. And, like, we've said it as well, the whole world obviously has been through this horrific lockdown for like over a year now. And it was great to see Milan. Way!
Cheers. I've just opened a bottle of Spumante dedicated to you all. Rory, please continue.
I've only got water, but cheers. There we go.
Cheers, man.
Yeah. But it was great to see. It was great to see Milan partying again and people out on the street. And it was something that obviously I've lived in Milan for 3 years now, and I've been thinking the whole time, like, when am I going to get to see Milan after a Scudetto win? I hope it's with Inter first and not Milan. And we've done it. We did it. And it was great to see. Everyone was obviously, the atmosphere was great. No trouble. Everyone just shouting at each other down the road. All the stereotypical stuff of mopeds and flags hanging off the back and stuff. It was, what a day. What a day. It made today at work a bit tougher, but fucking undoubtedly worth it.
Yeah, today was a slow day. It was one of those mornings that I had repeatedly as a teenager, where you wake up on Sunday morning and you're like, oh no, wallet, phone, flags, backpack. Do I have it all in my house? How did I get back home? Like, it wasn't too, like, I didn't go too crazy. I remember everything from yesterday. But this morning also, like, God, we've won the Scudetto. Like, it started sinking in. And right now I did take a beautiful walk to the supermarket to get some food, the spumante and everything. And man, seeing those black and blue flags from the windows and the balconies, that really, really got me. Like, you might know, if you're a customary listener of the pod, that when we did the treble, I was in the United States of America. I did not even leave the celebrations. So for me, it had actually been 12 years since I had seen scenes similar to this. It was beautiful. There is a line from South Park that I thought of. You know, the feeling of a big dump that you've been holding in for so long, and then you finally take it.
So graceful, Tommy.
Yeah, it's so graceful. But yeah, Cartman, thank you for the quote. It's exactly how it felt. I'm super happy. I cannot analyze things very rationally yet. Tonight, I think I'm just going to make myself a hot tea and watch the best moments from this season. I already saw a few documentaries creeping out on YouTube. Definitely gonna pick one and serenade myself to that. How was the sensation, Rory, to think that you've lived it? You've moved to so many different cities. You've always followed the football. Does it feel like you're a part of it as well?
Yeah, I think I definitely I think it's because I was possibly tired and hungover from Saturday night. But when we got to the first celebrations at Duomo, I did genuinely get a little bit choked up. I got quite emotional. It was just really nice to see. I think after the lockdown and just not being in a football crowd for over a year and not following the game more than ever, arguably, because we've been doing this podcast, but not through a stadium, to be surrounded by the fans again and stuff, and for it to be a title win, it genuinely got me a little bit, and I was fighting back tears for a little bit. So I think it was a beautiful moment, a really beautiful moment. Obviously, I've never been lucky enough to see it with Arsenal. Last time we won the league, I was about 14, 15, and about 500 miles from London, so a big problem. But it was... yeah, it was the first one I've seen since. Like I said, I was there at the Atletico one in 2014, but this one felt I don't know. I've been to Inter. I've been a season ticket holder at Atletico. I never went that often, if you know what I mean. So I think it just felt a bit more important, and yeah, really amazing to see. Hopefully, and now we look forward to next year when we do it again.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. One moment that got me emotional was seeing so many faces that I had forgotten about, and they were people that I used to see at the stadium weekend in, weekend out, and so seeing the same faces after this pandemic, and also thinking, they're doing fine. Everybody's the people that I can remember are fine. So that was a great moment. I see the Hopeless Wanderer is asking, Tommy, I remember where you came out on the pod, you said Conte wouldn't be seen as a hero by Inter fans. What about now? We had this discussion yesterday with Rory and Michael, whom we always talk about is the third member, unofficial member of the Inter section of the pod. He has to retain it. Definitely this title is massive. Off mic with Rory, we were saying that he started a reign and he put an end to it. And I think that guy has a major chip on his shoulder against Juventus. This must feel this could be either, we were talking about this already a few episodes ago. This could be either, okay, I've done this and it's been my little revenge against Juventus, or you can retain the title, establish a cycle, and make life hell for any team in Italy for the next 5 years. A lot of Inter fans yesterday I overheard saying this is the beginning of a cycle. We do have the players. We do have an incredible manager. We do have an incredible management. The pandemic situation has made it very hard on some fronts. There was that story about not being able to pay the players' salaries. But man, the fact that none of these players, after we had that whole Icardi madness, I want more money, seeing that no player from the Inter squad made a public statement about the money, it means that they were united for one objective. This is a huge praise for Conte. He will be remembered, of course, by Inter fans if he leaves now. If he wants out, he will be remembered as a winner. But I think that this could be just the first step of a monumental job that will forever enshrine him in Inter history. I think this is the deal.
Oh shit, we can feel the optimism, guys. Can you feel it as well? I can definitely feel the optimism. I think, now, another debate we've had early on in the season is whether Conte would be in top 5 managers in the world at the moment, right? And it's something that I wasn't particularly at ease with. I thought maybe he'd be a little bit lower. Does this put him definitely in the top 5?
At the moment, I think it's very hard to argue that he's not a top 5 manager in the world. What he has done at Juventus, he took them from 7th place and won them the Scudetto in their first season. He went to Chelsea. I don't even know how Chelsea, I read them, I think they were 11th when he came in.
Yeah, they were down in 10th when he took over. Yeah.
won them the league in the first season, came to Inter Milan. I will say it now. I think that a part of this Scudetto also goes to Luciano Spalletti, who's done an incredible job at Inter Milan. Conte took over. I think that the Spalletti had already created a rupture with the past, a more winning mentality. We are Inter. We go in to win the games, not to watch them, not to lose them. But then the ultimate winning manager took over. He changed the lineup completely. We had Icardi. If you remember, it was always crossing and inshallah, as our friend Uncle Sharma, whom I salute, would say. He took over, managed to change the lineup, made some crucial decisions. Some bets didn't pay off. Vidal didn't clearly pay off. But at the same time, he did some bad to Inter in a few occasions. But then I think of players like Bastoni. That was a big decision. You get rid of Godin over the summer, and you put all your trust in this guy. We didn't go on the market for a center back. He knew exactly what he was doing. We're going to go through the names. This Scudetto belongs to so many people. And Conte, Ruairi, are you convinced now he's in the top 5?
I think yes, but I think Steve Cole, good friend, good to have you back this week, Steve.
Nice to have you back, Steve.
He does raise an interesting point, not until he does something in Europe. I think this is the one mark on Conte's CV so far. Now, I think with Italy in the tournament, he did really well, and it wasn't a particularly great Italy squad. So I don't feel like it's tournament football he struggles with or has struggled with. So I don't know what it is about the Champions League he can't quite perform. Now, we've talked about how he does like lots of time to prepare for matches. He does he's kind of famous for how much he prepares for his opponents. And maybe with 2 games in a week, he's not quite able to do that. But I don't know. I think, yes, he's in the top 5. But I think the only reason I'm doubting it is because he's never made a mark in the Champions League.
What if Conte had won 1 Champions League, but in his team, he had Messi, Iniesta, Xavi, Puyol? Would you say...
But he would have won it. What if... you say, if my granddad had wheels, it'd be a streetcar. It doesn't matter.
Well, the thing I'm saying is that Guardiola, for example, is widely considered as one of the top managers in the world, without a question, one of the top 3. But what has he done ever since winning that Champions League, besides dominating in national leagues and doing all right in the Champions League? I think that next year, I think who would be then the top? Okay, tell me your top 5. Let's go with the top 5 without Conte.
Well, I think it's going to be Klopp and Guardiola.
Okay.
You
probably said Klopp before he won the Champions League last year too.
Yeah, probably. That might be some Premier League bias coming out of me, to be fair. That might be a little bit. Arteta, obviously. No, I mean, let's do Pochettino. Although he's not won anything yet, right? You would say Hansi Flick, but he's only been in for 2 seasons. But what he's done in 2 seasons has been mind-blowing. Yeah, maybe... Beyond that, any suggestions from the chat, guys? Hansi Flick's being suggested by Hopeless Wanderer. Maybe Conte's top 5. I don't know. I'm going to try.
I didn't want to put you on the spot. What I'm saying is that Conte is that manager, like Klopp, that you call and you say, "Look, just take the team and do what you got to do," and you can be sure that he can establish the potential beginnings of a cycle.
Yeah.
Go for it.
No, I was going to say, well, I thought when he came into Inter, usually he wins the league in the first year. So I knew it would be an incredible appointment. I was like, okay, first season, they're going to win this. Obviously, it didn't happen. They've got it now. That's not to take away from the win now. But I mean, I knew when it was when they appointed him, it was going to be a big decision. I think his Chelsea team don't get enough credit for the football they played in the Premier League. People forget it all too quickly. And he did still win the double with them as well. I'm pretty sure he won the FA Cup with them, right? Or did he?
He probably did. I think so. I think he did.
Or maybe we beat him. No, I think we beat him in the final. I can't remember. But anyway, the football that his team played definitely goes underrated. And I see Chelsea fans moan about it now. Like, we had to survive Conte ball. Like, fuck off. He won you the league. Like, stop moaning, guys. Nagelsmann is another kind of shout we're getting from Steve there. I think Nagelsmann at Bayern will definitely secure himself into the top 5, I would think. But yeah, okay, maybe let's say we're inducting officially, both of us are inducting Conte into the top 5 managers in the world. Right, there we go.
He did win an FA Cup in 2017-2018, the year after winning the league with Chelsea. So two trophies in 2 years. Let's not forget that last year Inter went all the way to a Europa League final. We finished the second to Juventus by 1 point only. I really hope he stays. I understand that right now he just needs a break. Okay, the suggestions from the hopeless wanderer are Tuchel, Nagelsmann, Pochettino, Pep, Klopp, Den Haag, a few to mention. I agree with you. All of these names are big, but can you say that Den Haag and Nagelsmann are better managers than Conte? I mean, that team that Rory mentioned when we went to the Euros with Conte, that team had Giaccherini. Now, Giaccherini is borderline between a regular civilian and a football player, and he made him big. We had Eder Pelé up front, but again, look at what he was trying to do. Eder, you remember the guy? Very short.
I remember how frustrating he is to watch.
Pelé, you put them in a beautiful machine that turns them into real football players, and you get Lukaku and Lautaro Martinez. But that way of playing that he was trying to establish, like, this guy has ideas. Sometimes he seems too stubborn, but they've paid off most of the time. And I will tell you one thing about the Champions League. I do believe that it sucked the way we went out of the Champions League. It was kind of ridiculous. Only one win, I believe. Today, guys, in case you're wondering, 0 stats. All off the top of my head today. It's the excitement.
It's been a long weekend, guys.
Still running through my veins. So if you want to correct me, feel free to do it. But the way we got out of the Champions League was embarrassing. You know what's even harder to do after that happens? To keep the locker room together. And you're not leading the league. For the majority of the season, we were trailing. AC Milan were top of the league. And this guy probably was like, okay, guys, we got out of the Champions League. Are we going to cry about it? Are we going to go back home sad? Or do we have another title to fight for? Let's fight for it. But it's not going to be a game in, a game out. We win, we lose, we're out. No, this is a commitment throughout the entire season. And how cynical the Inter team were towards the end of this season. All those 1-0 wins, thanks to Matteo Darmian. By the way, beautiful banner. Che ce frega dei Neymar, noi abbiamo Teo Darmian. What do we care about Neymar? We've got Teo Darmian. Like, all these crucial wins, that's mentality, man. And I think that next year, we do need to go through. That is a must. Go through the group stage. I already looked at the possible ever draw for Inter Milan in the Champions League next year. And it's ridiculous, dude. It's ridiculous. It's a very tough group with RB Leipzig and other teams. But okay, let's not think about that yet. We need to go through the groups. I think that this year, we needed this one extra year of Conte to really assimilate all the things that he's been teaching to the players. And next year, we got to go in. I'm not going to say it this time around. We're not going to win the Champions League, but I want to see a round of 16, a hard-fought round of 16, possibly quarterfinals, and I'll be happy. The thing that is lacking to this Inter Milan is that European DNA, I think. But hey, fucking hell, after 11 years, we've got a title.
Yeah, it's not a time to moan, right? We can focus on the victories rather than the losses right now. And there's something that you wanted to... there's something I wanted to jump on that you said there about players like Darmian and players like, I don't know, he always makes you think of Victor Moses when he was at Chelsea, Ashley Young, what he's done. And this might be a bit harsh to those players.
So happy for Ashley. So happy for Ashley.
Honestly, the fact Ashley Young's got a Scudetto, that did make me smile. But what I think Conte, one of his biggest strengths is that he gets the most out of, in quotes, average players. He does, like, in all of the teams where he's been successful, there will be players where you go, man, that guy wasn't that great, but he became such an icon of that team. The one that sticks in my mind is Victor Moses at Chelsea. I just remember he was playing at Wigan, who were constantly fighting relegation, and then he became like the top assist maker at Chelsea that season, I think, and just became so crucial as that wing back. I think that's why he brought him into Inter as well. Unfortunately, it didn't work out this time, but I think that's one of his like big strengths, right? Is that he can get the best out of these players that people have thought are done, like Matteo Darmian.
Absolutely. And I think he's very good at establishing personal relationships with players. Moses was with him at Chelsea. I feel like last year he literally texted him and was like, we need you at Inter Milan. Packed his bags, came to Milan right away. Well, of course, he was paid money and it's his job. But, if a manager, you don't like a manager, he makes you work too hard or he's a dick, you don't answer to his call. You say, no, I don't want to come to Inter Milan. The only player that I can recall talking badly about Conte is Eden Hazard. He said that he was, but once again, his reasons to say that he didn't like Conte is that because he makes you work way too hard. Like, it was just like, he's a perfectionist. Like, unless the pass isn't exactly like he wants, he will make you repeat it. Like, he works on like one specific aspect all training long. It's not fun. But again, it's meant, why do teams play football? To win games. It's all meant towards winning games.
Yeah. Well, I think we've learned that Eden Hazard's a bit of a fragile flower, right? I think things need to be very perfect for him and things for him to work out. I think you could see that, like, Conte, his personality would definitely rub people up the wrong way. I think it's a quote from Pirlo where it's like, his words, he doesn't shout at you, his words assault you or something. Like, that is his demeanor. That is how he is. Very Southern Italian, very pugliese, I'll be honest. But that's like
super Southern Italian.
Yeah. But that's the strength, obviously. And I think a lot of players, like, you could see it again when you were talking about when you went out of the Champions League. You could see that he got them all around it and was like, look, you're coming on the ride whether you like it or not. And you could see the determination in the team from that moment where they were just like, fuck it, we are doing it. Nothing's getting in our way. And that's what that part of his personality and that, like, sheer psychotic drive is what gets you to these achievements. And I think you will never hear Lukaku say a bad word about this guy. You will never hear, like, Brozovic or Bastoni, any of them say a bad word about him, because for them, he's delivered them the Scudetto, if you know what I mean.
What Materazzi said, that there is a great Golotzo episode. Now, let's give a shout out to one of the podcasts that has the most inspired us to start a podcast, the Golotzo Podcast with James Horncastle, Gabriel Marcotti, and James Richardson, of course, in an episode where they talk about Materazzi's story. They quote Materazzi saying, Conte is a dog, and the last thing you want to do is feed him anything. Just don't give him absolutely anything to feed on, otherwise he's going to bite you. And if Materazzi said this, it means that on the pitch, like, he was a tough opponent. Now, we were talking about Brozovic. Again, great clip from this season, just a few weeks out. Brozovic misses a pass on the pitch, and you can hear Conte with the microphone saying, well, through the microphone at the stadium, he's like, what the fuck are you doing? Play simple. And Brozovic, like, looks at him and is like, he was open. And Conte says, vaffanculo cazzo, gioca facile. And you see Brozovic says, fuck you. Those two, that player and that manager, they fucking love each other. Brozovic needs a dog that tells him literally, fuck you. Remember the Amazon documentary, which we recommend to you all, Mi chiamo Francesco Totti. Totti said that he was disappointed when Spalletti came back at Roma, walked in the locker room and said, good morning, lads. How are we doing today? He said, that is not my manager. The manager I used to know from his first spell at Roma, he literally walked in and said, you fucking piece of shit, go run through drills. But a lot of players need this. They need that person, that dog that, like, bites their fucking shins and says, you're going to run faster than you did last time.
Well, exactly. And as an Arsenal fan, I think this is what, there's always an Arsenal perspective, Tommy, no matter what we're talking about.
Always an Arsenal perspective.
It is impressive how I do it, I think. But no, I think this is the thing that's missing most, or has been missing most, from Arsenal for about 10 years, is anyone giving a shit and giving people shit and shouting and going, it's not good enough. If you're not playing well enough, someone needs to tell you. And that is how you create success, right? I don't think there's any team that's been built on success where there's not been kind of arguments in the changing room, fights, whatever it is, teammates not liking each other. This is what pushes people on. If it's all happy and friendly and comfortable, then you get Arsenal. So I think it's so vital. It's so vital. And it's like the normal world, right? How many people in your work do you actually like? Like, I don't know. 30, 40% of them, not all of them. Like, so of course it's the same in a football changing room, if you know what I mean. But hopefully, unfortunately, in my office, I can't get a Champions League medal out of it. But
Look, we're gonna have to talk about the rest that happened in Europe. Guess what? I don't know anything of what has happened in Europe this week. I know that Ajax have won the title. Guys, this is the least professional of all the episodes we've recorded. I don't care. I'm still celebrating mentally. Ajax have won the title. Congratulations. I don't know how you say it in Dutch. That was a bad joke. But guys, congratulations. I'm very happy for you. The Lancers, you've secured your Champions League spot for next season. Super happy about that. Rory, before we jump on to the rest of Europe, I kind of want to give a personal thank you to the lineup of Inter Milan from this season.
Tommy, I'm going to put myself on mute and let you go. Go for it.
Guys, okay, let's start from the fact that I'm just going to, Roy, jump in whenever you want. The spumante, by the way, is starting to run through my veins. We're still celebrating. It's good times. You want banter? You're here for that.
Here we go.
So it will. First thing I got to say, Inter Milan, I think of the lineup, which one is our weak spot? The attack, the midfield, or the defense? Tough question, Rory. I'm going to ask you.
Goalkeeper,
right. And we're going to start from him. Samir Handanovic, I'm going off the top of my head. I do not remember the season that he joined us. I believe it was 2011, 2012. Sir, I have seen such bad football being played at the San Siro that sometimes I wouldn't talk to my mate Michael on the way back from the stadium. I have seen us lose 3-0 against Bologna. I've seen us do horrible things. You have been there all along. And for a few seasons, the only reason why we didn't finish in the right side of the Serie A table, it's because of your saves. You have been there all along. This year, there have been moments where you did things that made us wonder, what the fuck? But you were there in the Milan Derby. That to me, I knew you were going to ask me about this, Rory, my favorite game of the season. You were here at my house, the Inter Milan Derby, 3-0, crucial saves by Samir Handanovic. You've played so many games in your professional career. I looked up one thing today. In his professional career, 19 years as a professional football player, never won a trophy, stuck at Inter Milan in the most awful of times, took plenty of shit from the supporters when he fucked up. He's won the title. He's our captain. Samir Handanovic, I salute you. Thank you very much. You are the first person that I think of when I think who are the players that deserve this Scudetto the most. Handanovic is number one. Number two, he goes by the name of Marcelo Brozovic. And today, super hilarious video on his Instagram feed. Rory, you want to tell about it?
He looked baked as fuck. His eyes were like, I've seen them in the mirror a few times. Like, it looked pretty heavy. Comes across as a really weird guy. Comes across as a strange guy on his Instagram, but a good follow. A player that, Tommy, from when I first came to Inter and when I first came to Milan and we first started talking about football, he was one of the players that I was like, I would take him at Arsenal tomorrow. He is exactly the player we kind of need. That absolute work ethic, can win the ball, tidy passer. Just a great player, man. Pops up with the odd goal every so often, the odd like banger. And yeah, I feel like we talked about how Handanovic deserves it, undoubtedly. But yeah, the next one on the list for me as well was I'm definitely happy Brozovic has got it, right? He's been here for ages.
Man, he's been here. Now, Brozovic was born off the top of my head once again in 1994. He's 2 years younger than me. He's been at Inter Milan for 8 years. There have been other teams interested in him. I don't know everything that went on in the background, but he's stuck at Inter Milan even when, and I remember this clearly, I wasn't one of them, but whenever he touched the ball, the Inter fans would boo him because he wouldn't put enough effort in the game and everything. They have threatened, talking about online abuse. All this weekend, we were offline to raise awareness about online abuse. Marcelo Brozovic, I remember reading death threats to his newborn daughter. Marcelo Brozovic literally, there were a picture of him and the three of you die. I was like, dude, this is crossing the line. Brozovic is out at the end of the season. He has never said a word. Always stayed in Milan, always played in Inter Milan. And in the past 3 to 4 years, I want to say, we've seen him really become a top midfielder. Now, there is an argument about the possibility of him being sold this summer. To be honest, I would love him to stay. to become an Inter legend. That player, I think that at some point in his career, he will accept like being the sub to somebody better than him. He's a great player, create great chemistry in the locker room. I believe there was a moment when Perisic was falling off with the locker room back in the day when Icardi left. Brozovic kept it all together. This goes to you, Marcelo, the crocodile, who has also invented like a new role in soccer, like lying down behind the wall. Dude.
Oh, no, that was him, right? That was him.
Yeah, that was him. The first time against Barcelona at the Nou Camp. So, Brozovic, for you. Third name it goes to, it's Milan Skriniar. Milan Skriniar, despite your name, you are already an Inter legend. You last year, man, you didn't play many games. You were often substituted by Godin. Never a word out of place. We had an episode about my grandfather. One thing that my grandfather said he loved about Inter Milan, he said they are a classy club. The players just accept the things that they are. They don't like to create a problem out of nowhere. Skriniar, you embrace the philosophy. You deserve it. But then, MVP, I'm trying to go quick. We still got stuff to talk about. MVP of the season, Ruairi. I'll let you say the name.
Alexis Sanchez. Oh, no, wait.
The other one.
Right. Big Rom Lukaku.
Ruairi, you bring the Premier League perspective to this talk, please.
Now, this guy got so disrespected at United, and it was a bad time to be at Manchester United. It was a bad time to be there. Things were falling apart. It was Mourinho. It was Pogba. It was all getting toxic. And he was a bit overweight. Lukaku was, but I think that's more about what was going on at United at the time and the lack of standards there than kind of anything about him. The slander was loud, and people really did think he wasn't good enough. If you look at his scoring records in the Premier League for how young he still is, it's mental. And he has now come to Italy and just absolutely, like, nobody can say a negative word about him. Again, he is now in the top 5 strikers in the world easily. Conte has got him into the best shape he's been in, I've ever seen him in, since he was at Everton and he was like 18 or whatever he was. If you know what I mean, like, it is the best shape he's been in. The guy's an absolute monster. I got massive R9 vibes from him with the way he runs past players. Like, it's pushing them out of the way whilst being quicker than them. He's just absolutely killed it in Milan, and I'm so happy for him. He's a player I love to watch, and I'm just delighted that he gets to lift the league and slide the middle finger up to Zlatan, and he's already chucked out a few little tweets to get him to bite, which is great to see. The celebration of him, like, Dio, like slapping his chest.
He says,
Io. No, he's shouting God, right?
No, he's shouting God. No, he's looking at Ibrahimovic and he's saying, Io, te l'avevo detto, cazzo. I told you, goddammit. That's
I thought he was shouting Dio because Zlatan called himself a god.
Can we agree that that's the best Inter celebration of the season? That's banned. Because the mics.
The flag on the pole was last season, wasn't it?
That was last season.
Okay, yeah.
But dude, when he because he jumps, like, I believe the field mics are right by him, and you can hear it. Io te l'avevo detto, cazzo! I told you, goddammit. Dude, Romelu Lukaku yesterday, you saw him celebrating around the streets of Milan yesterday. That was beautiful. And at a point, you hear a girl at the beginning. It's the first people that recognize him. It's like, oh, my Lukaku, sei un grande. And the girl, now, look, I don't know who this girl is. I don't know if she goes to the stadium every weekend, if she's a huge Inter fan. But she says very clearly, but not like out of emotion, like very clearly, she says, I don't know if you realize it. You're a god. You're a god in Milan. And man, it sounds so genuine. And you see Lukaku like waving his shirt, turns around, he's like, oh, grazie. And I'm like, that guy looks happy. Now, we can have a special episode about Lukaku's childhood. I've learned more about it this year. He didn't grow up in the best family setting. He's a guy that has always like I heard that there was a study when he was at Anderlecht by the Belgian national team to try and recreate the prototype of player that he is, to have more players like him over the years for the Belgian team. What he did at Everton was exceptional. The abuse that he got at United was also exceptional. The fact that Antonio Conte, once again, was like, dude, I want you for my attack. Come on. I think, and he too said that after the game against Slavia Prague last year, Conte insulted him in front of all the other players in the locker room. And he said that he called his agent after that, and he was like, dude, I don't get behind this type of shit. Like, and they were just like, dude, stay strong. It's for your best. Like, this guy doesn't hate you. Trust us. This guy called us all summer long to have you. He just wants the best out of you. Rom, I did read your tweet today. The best season I have had in my footballing career. Thank you, man. And no penalties missed. Unfortunately, I think it's going to come the day that you miss a penalty for Inter Milan. It hasn't come yet. I love it.
Long may it continue. Just long may it continue. There's two more players that I just wanted to quickly
go for it.
Give a bit of props to because I'm happy for them. One is Ashley Young, because I love to see an English player win trophies abroad. I just fucking love it. The guy has now won, off the top of my head, the Premier League, the Champions League, the FA Cup, League Cup. He won everything at United. Maybe was he there for the Europa League? Maybe not. And now he's picked up the Scudetto in Italy. I feel like, yes, Ashley, fucking yes. I love to see it. I love seeing it. And talking of players who have redeemed themselves after terrible spells at Manchester United, just to see Alexis Sanchez chip in with a few goals this season, come off the bench and kind of be important, man. I had a bit of a reminisce sesh. What night was it? Friday night. I sat watching highlights of Alexis Sanchez. Yes, I do live an exciting life, listeners. And I was sat there thinking, oh, I'm just back. I'm full. I've gone full circle from in love with him to hating him for United, now to just fully back in love with him. What a player he was. What a player he is, and it's great to see him lift a trophy. He was never able to get the league title with Arsenal, so I'm glad he's done it with Inter.
Mate, I will just go through the entire squad really quick before we jump onto the rest of Europe. Going back to defense, Stefan de Vrij, you are a beast. One of the best center-backs in the world. I'm not speaking from an Inter fan's perspective. I don't know how these work. I read a tweet that said, somebody close to the Dutch national team allegedly reported that de Vrij is a way more reliable defender than De Ligt. I don't know how these Chinese whispers of information works, but de Vrij, I think that I mean, just watch any Inter game. De Vrij is one of the best center backs in the world right now. We go to midfield. We haven't forgotten you, dude.
I can't believe we haven't mentioned his name yet.
Nicolino Barella, dude. Rory, you want to say something? Say something about Barella. You go. I'll just listen and bask myself into this beauty.
We've talked about him a few times, eh? We've talked about how he's developed over this season and how you can see his game becoming more rounded from a more defensive-minded midfielder to he's now kind of offensive as well, able to progress the ball. His eye for a pass is unbelievable. I think his assist at the weekend was a beautiful assist. I think his ball across the box, right? He put the ball in for the second goal. I think it was against...
No, against Juventus, it was Bastoni that
No, this weekend. Who did you play this weekend, man?
I don't even know. We played.
He set up the second goal, right?
Yeah, he did.
And it was a great assist. I think he's just become much more rounded. He is one of the icons of this team, and I'm genuinely surprised we've not mentioned him yet. Sorry.
Never forget that this guy, just to tell you how different he is from the rest of the world, he's like 21 years old and he's got 3 kids and he's married. He never posts the shit on Instagram. He just posted like on his Instagram story, like, we won the Scudetto. That was it. Love this type of old school players. He comes from a family of basketball players, which you would never guess. The name of his dog is LeBron, like LeBron James. He's a huge NBA fan. Weird dude all around. Number 25, I want to say. Yeah, 23, 25. I don't know today, man. But going to the 20s, Rory, from Tottenham Hotspur, he might have been doomed for the rest of his life, never winning a trophy, but he did at Inter Milan. Christian Eriksen, you are one of the people that deserve this the most. I'll tell you why. Because you also released a few statements through your agents, but it was never something too spicy. It was never something too out of line. You looked sad. Guess what? You never You never fussed when Conte put you on at the 93rd out of 94 minutes. You were there. And then what did Conte do? Conte just said, you're a starter from now on. Because that's what Conte does. He doesn't take it personally on players. You show him, you do what he wants, you will be the fucking starter. And I'm so glad, Chris, I know you're listening, that you got the goal, like possibly the goal.
The goal
that got us the championship. And then Matteo Darmian, beautiful. Che ce frega di Neymar, noi abbiamo Matteo Darmian. These are the stories that I love. Ashley Young, as you said, I'm super happy. Do we want to talk about the Moroccan fast speed train, Achraf Hakimi?
I mean, the future Arsenal legend. I can't wait.
What a buy. What a steal. What a fucking buy. What a purchase. Great management. Achraf, I'm super happy for you. Really, really happy. And this goes undetected under the radar. But man, the fact that you played so well while you were fasting for Ramadan, even more praise to you, buddy. And then Alexis Sanchez, I'm super happy for you as well. I will go through all the players in another episode. Right now, I'm just getting them off the top of my head. I'm super happy for everybody. Even Daniele Padelli, second string goalkeeper. I insulted you like I never insulted anybody before last year when you got on the derby. But man, you're part of this too. Shout out to everyone bowling while fasting. Shout out to Bryce, who didn't pick up my phone call yesterday while I was drunk in the Milan City Center.
That was a good choice, Bryce. That was a
good choice, Bryce.
Good choice.
But guys, I think I'm done.
Good.
I think I'm done for
We've
today.
only got 18 minutes left. Look.
For today, I'm done. Rory, let's go elsewhere in Europe and look at what I found. A cigar in my house. And I'm going to smoke it. I'm going to smoke it like Michael Jordan while you take us across the rest of Europe.
Well, okay, so it's down to me. Right, well, we were in... It's weird. It's been a weird weekend in the Premier League as well. And we can only really talk about one thing within the Premier League. And I'm glad we've got some United fans on the line, so to speak, because... Once again, we're not talking about the football in England, and I think it's a positive thing. So, on Sunday, after the mighty Arsenal, after we managed to beat Newcastle 2-0, Aubameyang scoring, United stole our thunder by their fans starting to protest outside of Old Trafford, and needless to say, it got out of hand. So there's now been footage of, I think it was a couple hundred, maybe towards 1,000, but I think it was a couple hundred fans who managed to break into Old Trafford and get onto the pitch. They were found in the boardroom. They were found in the private boxes. They went everywhere in that stadium. And I think, look, obviously it was ruined by some arseholes who got violent and who started to... some like criminal damage, but anything like this does get ruined by arseholes, unfortunately. Tommy's muted himself, but he's coughing after the cigar. I just wanted to highlight that.
I would like to highlight that I haven't even lit it. I've just cut the bottom of it. I've put it in my mouth, pretended to inhale, and I was like, "Oh God, it's gonna be intense." But no, about the protest, Rory, you were saying that you read some tweets about the importance of not protesting because it was an important game. How does the Anglo-Italian pod feel about this?
I think I don't give a fuck how important the game is.
Nice.
I don't give a fuck. Like, if it's the Champions League final, this is about, if there's anything we've learned over the past couple of weeks, it's that we're fighting for the identity of our football clubs without being too dramatic. We're not fighting for, like, a new left winger or a new striker. It is, can we try to get back the club that we fell in love with? And I think United fans have done an absolutely fantastic job. They have been protesting consistently since the Glazers took over. A lot of pundits came out, Graham Souness came out and was like, "Oh, they're only protesting because they're not top of the league." It's like, no, Graham. One of their biggest protests was after they just won the Champions League. After they won the league, like, these fans have consistently said, we do not want the Glazers in charge of our club. They've taken the opportunity to protest here, and I think they've made a big statement. I think what the interesting thing is here is that we saw a few weeks ago, Arsenal fans really pushed the boat out with that big protest at the Emirates. And And now United have taken it a step forward. And I'm kind of intrigued as to whether there's going to be one-upsmanship among the fans now and what's going to happen at the next Arsenal protest. Because I hope that they break into the Emirates. Fuck it, do it. Like, make a statement, make the Cronkies scared. I think what they've done with the Glazers now is they've shown them that even if you own the club, the stewards, they like the fans. The stewards will just let the fans in. There was a picture of a steward just opening the gate, like, in you go, boys. If you know what I mean? Like,
there you go.
It's very like the Republican storming Capitol Hill vibes to it, if you know what I mean. But it's great to see, and I think it's the only way that we can make them scared or make them think about it is by hitting their pocket and by getting the biggest fixture in English football postponed. That is one hell of an achievement. That is impressive. Like, for them to postpone Liverpool versus United, you've done a hell of a job. If it wasn't for those arseholes that have unfortunately just undermined the whole message, because now whoever is against it can just say, well, look at that, look what happened there. There's pricks like that at every protest. The majority and the main idea behind that protest was good. It was wholesome. It was real United fans fighting for their club, and it was organized. They managed to block off the hotel so the teams couldn't even leave the hotel. It was like an organized, peaceful protest that did its job. But it doesn't mean that there was no football to talk about, really. Bryce has just commented with how Graham Souness is it. Yeah.
No, go for it. Go for it.
Bryce was just saying how Graham Souness is in a job is beyond me. Graham Souness, great player, unbelievable player. As a person, I'm not a big fan. This is a guy who, as a Liverpool legend, did an interview with The Sun after playing there, knowing how much Liverpool, the city, and the fans fucking hate that paper. He is someone who can be tone deaf when it comes to emotions or nuance. His one-man hate campaign on Pogba is it started to look like old man yelling at cloud a long time ago. Now it's starting to look like an agenda. His comments were really difficult to listen to. Like, it's just so out of touch, and it's something that was kind of highlighted on Sky Sports as well, in that their ire towards the Super League was so intense and so like, this is evil, this is bad, we've got to get rid of it. And now the fans have disrupted the Premier League. Their messaging has changed slightly, and Dave Jones, the host, had to be a bit more diplomatic and be like, well, you know, is this actually a good thing, or do we think this is? Oh, here we go. Now we see where your actual where your priorities are. We knew where they are, but now we see where they are, and we see how much you're actually going to back the fans. There's rumours about them punishing United. I don't think United fans give a shit if they take 3 points off you. Would you care? Would you really care? You've made such a statement, and it's an event in English football that will be remembered. Regardless of what happens from here, people will remember the day that United fans stormed Old Trafford.
Can I say one thing? I saw a beautiful, and this again doesn't mean that all the supporters were peaceful nor anything, but that happens too, and it's worth being mentioned. I saw a beautiful picture of an old man picking up all the trash, and an old Manchester United fan picking up all the trash that had been left behind from the protests. Those are football fans too. Those are actually the majority of football fans. So it was a beautiful picture to see. But Ruairi, what about the football?
Well, there's just one last thing I wanted to say as like a...
Go for it.
I am perfectly open about the fact that I hate Manchester United, right? I have a lot of hate for Manchester United, but I respect the club and the fans so much. I think like the real United fans, the way they've consistently gone at the Glazers and they've been loud the whole time. And it's never been about them not signing Mbappe. It's been about the crippling debt that they're putting against the club, the fact that they're not renovating Old Trafford, the fact that they're not putting the cash in. And I just think you've got to take a second to say, just well done, Manchester United fans. Just well done. It's a great club, the biggest club in the world. They should be back where they ought to be, and the owners of that institution should care about it. They should, and it's a shame that they don't. Obviously, I hope that when you get taken over, Arsenal get taken over, and we spend more money than you. But I just wanted to say fair play to the United fans, because it is a great moment, I think.
And another important thing to be mentioned, if you're just listening and not watching us on Twitch or YouTube, go to YouTube. The episode is pre-recorded. You can also go on Twitch. I look sick with a cigar in my hand. I gotta say, Roy. I gotta say,
well,
man.
I was about to say it. Yeah, I was about to say it.
You are saying loads of interesting things, but all your crap, I'm kind of stealing the show with this big cigar.
It's good to see that he is listening to everything I'm saying, right? And that wasn't all in vain. But let's go.
Dude, there is a part of this podcast that is planned, and people do care about the fact that they're spitting, and that part is you today, Rory. So, of course, I owe to be listening to you.
All the pressure on me, Tommy. Right. So, in the Premier League, the big games, honestly, this weekend has kind of passed me by as well with all the Scudetto chat. But let's go for the big game. So, obviously, United-Liverpool, postponed. Great to see. It started off with, let's go for Man City beating Crystal Palace 2-0. Sergio Aguero is now 2 goals behind breaking Rooney's record of the most goals for one club. That is currently at 183. Aguero is on 182. It was a beautiful half volley that he set up for himself. City were managed to score 2 goals within, I think it was 22 seconds. They scored, kicked off, scored straight again. Now, the thing with City is the reason why they can win the league, they played their reserve defense and it's worth 160 million, right? That is why they can win the league, because their squad depth is insane. Now, it's not the first time we've said it, but it's at games like this when you're like, oh my God, they're not playing like De Bruyne. They're not playing Foden. They're not playing Diaz. They're not playing Stones. And they still just roll over a Premier League side. Very, very impressive team, but let's not pretend that it's not massively financially doped. But it just really struck me this weekend, really hit me this weekend. But Aguero's goal was fantastic, and that means that, well, because the game was postponed, City have to wait another week to win the league title, but I'm sure they won't mind too much. Interesting stat from this game, the second goal, which was, was it Aguero's? I can't remember. But the second goal was City's 700th under Pep Guardiola, 157 more than any other club since he arrived in the Premier League. So, yeah, I really like that statistic. For Crystal Palace, I think it really looks like they need to move on from Roy Hodgson. I like Roy, but it's just not working there. It is not working. It's all going a bit stale. From there, we have Brighton. Basically, I think they've secured their survival for this season as they put themselves 10 points above relegation after beating Leeds 2-0. A stupid penalty given away from Alioski to give Brighton the lead. Pascal Gross scoring the first goal. And then big Danny Welbeck getting his 5th goal of the season to make it 2-0. 5 goals now matches his highest record since 17-18. Obviously, a very injury-prone player, but we all love a bit of that boy Welbs. For Brighton, they now have 7 home clean sheets this season. Only Chelsea and City have more with 9. So if any stat shows what Brighton's problem has been, it's scoring goals.
Can I ask you a question? Do you think that Brighton is the Premier League revelation of this year?
No, West Ham.
West Ham, number 2, Brighton.
Dude, no, because I think Brighton have flattered to deceive. They are better than they've been. They should be better. It's not like we're surprised at how good they are. We're surprised that they're battling relegation. We're like, guys, you're pretty good. Why are you down there? They're a better side than Arsenal, I would argue, this year. It's mad that they're still down there. But it looks like they'll be in the Premier League for another season, and that's all we can ask for. One of my thoughts this weekend, is there a nicer place in England to play Premier League football than Brighton? Brighton is a beautiful part of the country. You're a millionaire. Really lovely stadium and club. I just think, man, I could definitely get behind playing for Brighton for a living. Looks beautiful. After that, we had Chelsea, who beat Fulham 2-0. Is Kai Havertz turning up in the Premier League? I think Tuchel is starting to get a tune out of him. He scored 2 as they beat their local rivals. Chelsea just looked so ruthless, and it looked almost effortless as they beat Fulham this weekend. Tuchel now has kept more clean sheets, 11, than any other manager in Premier League history from their first 15 games. So he's overtaken Mourinho and Scolari, who had 10 each from their first 15. Tuchel's Chelsea have 11, which is crazy when you think about, we've talked about it before, but the step up from Lampard to Tuchel has been astronomical, how
Big.
quickly they have risen. It's insane. And as for Mason Mount, he still stands out, still an incredible player. Can't believe people are still doubting him. 5 goals and 2 assists, and Timo Werner, 2 goals and 5 assists, have been involved in more Chelsea goals under Thomas Tuchel than any other player in all competitions. So it looks like he's starting to get a tune out of a few of the players that Lampard wasn't quite able to. He's now got Havertz. If he can get those goals from Werner up a bit more, it looks like he could be forming a bit of a team there. I'll take a breath. Then finally on Saturday, we have Everton, who lost 2-1 to Aston Villa. I didn't catch this game because we were out celebrating in a winning.
You wish, Rory. You wish.
But one day, Tommy, one day,
dude, I'd be there front row.
Yeah, we'll have to fly back for that one whenever that is in 2050. We'll get it booked. Anwar El Ghazi got the winner late on for Aston Villa. He's now got 23. He scored 8 goals in 23 games, twice as many as he got last year in 34 games. So it's been a really good season for El Ghazi. Everton just cannot get the form together. They've won just one of their last 10 home league games, drawing 3 and losing 6, with a victory against Southampton, which was 1-0. So Carlo, despite that really early promise in the season, it's definitely fallen away for the Toffees. They are now pretty much definitely out of European football next season. Yeah, Grealish. Sorry, the comment is just like, dude, I was trying to read the comment and keep up.
Dude, I'm not today. I'm the worst co-host you could possibly have. I'm just very worried about how cool I look. I'm listening to you, but I don't have a lot of input. As in my reality, football did not happen this weekend besides Inter Milan.
I'm going to finish with 2 games, yeah? I'm going to finish with 2 games.
Can you pull it off? 2 full games.
The mighty Arsenal won away from home, beating Newcastle 2-0. Finally got a clean sheet. El Neni with a banger. Oba getting goals. It's all great to see. People who are slagging off Oba, and there's been a lot of years, 13 starts this season, 10 goals. It is insane. If this guy is just played and put in the right position, this is on Arteta, he could still be having a great season. Don't start thinking that Oba's done. He is definitely still around. That being said, Newcastle really did not offer up much. It was fairly comfortable for Arsenal. Now, a nice little stat about El Neni. He scored his first Premier League goal for Arsenal in his 66th appearance. Okay. With what was his 49th shot. So only 3 players have had to wait a longer time than him to score their first goal. 4, Gael Clichy, Lee Dixon, Tony Adams, John Jensen, and Emmanuel Abue had to wait longer. But 66 games for your first Premier League goal. We're just happy it came, Mo. It is good to see.
Talk about XGs, huh?
Sorry?
Talk about XGs, right?
This is, well, I'll tell you what, he does hit him from distance, and usually they do go in when he does, but it's just a few more of them, please, Mo. It was beautiful. And now Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has scored in each of his last 5 appearances against Newcastle in all competitions. They must be bloody sick of the sight of him. Finally, let's finish with, because I suppose we'll do it quickly, Spurs beat Sheffield United 4-0. Gareth Bale got a hat-trick. I'm worried that he might be back.
For the first time in the Premier League since 2012, I did read today.
Yeah, it is. Well,
Well, let's not talk about Spurs. Come on.
No, I'm just going to say he's been using Tottenham. He's been using Tottenham as a gym, and he's just getting in form in time for the Euros, and then he'll be back to Madrid. Don't worry about it. But that is the Premier League done. In France, guys, we're like running right out of time. In France,
right? If you want, I will go. If you want, I will go with Spain as you take a breath.
Okay, go. Yeah,
right?
Yeah, go.
So in Spain, I don't know of anything that happened, but I know that Barcelona, I know that Atletico Madrid are still top of the league, and Barcelona tied against Valencia, won against Valencia 3-2. Messi's 50th free kick, they won, right?
They did, yeah, they did. Yeah.
They did win, right? They did. Thanks to Messi's 50th free kick goal in a Barcelona shirt. You're just laughing because I didn't write down any note.
Anything.
Absolutely anything. I'm going off the top of my head. As we are, so the top of the table is unchanged. Atletico Madrid are first with the 76 points, thanks to a win. Look, Rory, I'm so fucking good. Thanks to a win.
I'm impressed, mate.
Thanks to a 1-0 win over Elche. And as we are speaking, Sevilla are drawing 0-0 at halftime against Athletic Bilbao. So Atletico are first with 76 points, or shall I say the second team from Madrid are first at 76 points, Luke, followed by Real Madrid at 74 and Barcelona at 74. Now, the other day, Barcelona, as we were recording our pod on Thursday night, they were winning 1-0 thanks to a Messi goal against Granada. They could have gone top of the league, but Machis and Molina did score the winners for Granada. So that was a no-go for Barcelona's attempt to jump top of the league. In Italy, as I shall say something about Italy, Torino and Parma are currently drawing 0-0. Elsewhere, besides Inter Milan winning the 19th Scudetto of their history for the first time in 11 years, besides that, Juventus almost lost the game against Udinese that would have put them in dire straits, thinking about the Champions League push. Atalanta, as you know, drew against the Sassuolo. Luis Muriel did miss a penalty to give Inter Milan the Scudetto. Is that a message that he's going to be our third striker next season? I don't know. AC Milan won 2-0 against the Benevento quite convincingly on Saturday night. Roma, Rory, this is a stat that I want to bring to the table, haven't won a game in all competitions in a month. Their last win was on April 11th against Bologna. Since then, a draw against Ajax, loss against Torino, draw against Atalanta, and 3 consecutive L's against Cagliari, Manchester United, and Sampdoria, for a grand total of 11 goals conceded and 4 scored. If there is a Roma-like stat, this is a Roma-like stat. On the other hand, what does this mean? That Sassuolo could make a push for brand new, Rory, we never mentioned about it, next season's first ever Europe Conference League, which Roma are currently
another competition to bloody talk about.
Yes, but yeah, we're not going to cover that, guys. If you're here for the Conference League,
we'll cover the final, that's it.
We'll cover the semifinals and the final. And elsewhere, Cagliari outside of the relegation zone, and Crotone, Parma, and Benevento are still in the drop zone. But the most important thing is that Inter won their 19th Scudetto for the first time in 11 years. How bad was that game against United? Man, at moments, Chris, it really felt like, I don't know, the Roma defenders were not playing football. Like, the way that the Roma defense opened up was pretty incredible.
It's a psychological thing against United at that club,
but
man.
guys,
I don't know what it is.
The most important thing is keep a look on Serie A for the Champions League push, because Atalanta, Juventus, and Milan, in this order, are all at 69 points, followed by Napoli at 67 and Lazio at 64 with 1 game in hand. So Champions League push is still something in Serie A. Rory, let's go to France.
In France, we had it was 4, it was 3, now it's 2 left in the title race, as Lyon managed to get a 3-2 win in Monaco, and it all went a bit mental at the end. Depay scored a beautiful goal. It was deflected, but the little dribble through was incredible. Ben Yedder has now joined the Centurion club in Ligue 1, got his 100th goal in Ligue 1, and this means now that in the table with that win, Monaco are now unfortunately 4 points behind PSG and 5 points behind Lille, whereas Lyon get themselves on 70 points and now fighting with Monaco for 3rd place. But it looks like PSG and Lyon are now the 2 dogs left in the fight. PSG started the weekend with a 2-1 win over Lens. We've talked about Lens. They were not an easy team to beat, and they did not make it easy for the Parisians. But Neymar and Marquinhos scoring from a corner again managed to get the goal, get the points for PSG. That was then followed by Lille, who beat Nice 2-0. Turkish delight yet again as Yilmaz and Çelik both get goals. The Çelik goal you have to see. It is a beautiful volley from the edge of the area. Just, incredible. Then in the relegation battle, we have Nantes have given themselves a boost in staying up as they beat Brest Lol 4-1 away, putting themselves 4 points off Lorient in 17th. But they are still in the relegation playoff spot, so they're giving themselves a bit of a chance at survival, whereas Nîmes look like they may have thrown away their chance to fight against relegation as they let 2 points slip. In the 80th minute, they conceded an equalizer to Reims from a guy, check this name out, Alexis Flips. Really like that name.
I agree with you.
It's a pretty sick name, right? That manages to keep them 6 points away from safety. So starting to look like the bottom of the table is kind of sorting itself out in France. But finally, let's move on to the Bundesliga, where there was no Bundesliga action, but there was the DFB Pokal. We first had Werder Bremen against RB Leipzig. 90 minutes, no goals. They saved all their goals for extra time. It finished 2-1 to RB Leipzig. 3 goals in extra time. The first one from Hwang with his first touch of the game. 5 minutes into extra time made it 1-0. 8 minutes later, Bittencourt scored. Upamecano dropped an absolute howler. I swear, every time I see him, he doesn't look that great. I don't know what the hype is about. Again, I haven't watched him that much, but it was awful. And then in the 121st minute, added time of extra time, Forsberg managed to get the goal to see them through to the final, where they will meet Borussia Dortmund, who beat Holstein Kiel 5-0. 2 goals from Reina, 2 goals from Royce, a goal from Hazard, Bellingham deflected goal. It was all far too easy. But if you do want to search out some clip, do try and find the Jadon Sancho just making someone fall over through sheer fear. That was definitely the highlight of the game.
Mate,
it's a shame for Kiel.
That was an NBA-like ankle breaker. Like the
it was
little
brutal.
step back, step forward. You're done.
The guy just kind of like it's
kind
just
of like hit an imaginary wall and fell down.
Yeah. But for Kiel, they will look back on this cup run with some amazing memories. They did, most notably, knocking out the holders Bayern Munich on penalties. So for them to get to the semi-final is a hell of an achievement. So we have our final, RB Leipzig versus Dortmund. Can Nagelsmann send himself off with a present to the Leipzig fans? It would be their first ever major trophy if they were to win it. I am going to say I would rather have Dortmund win it because I want to see Sancho and Bellingham lifting that trophy. That is why. I think that's our review done. Oh, my God.
Rory, I thank you very much, guys. Going into this episode, we've been around ever since September. We've never come unprepared to an episode. Today, I kind of talked to Roy and I was like, Roy, is it okay if tonight, I don't have much to say? It's been a very intense day yesterday, a lot of fun. I hope you will excuse us, but I think it was a very good episode in the end. We forgot one name, Rory, when we talked about Inter Milan and the people we want to thank, Lautaro Martinez, of course. Sir, the cutest video that I've seen of the Inter Milan celebrations is Lautaro Martinez seeing the final whistle of Sassuolo-Atalanta on an iPad. His girlfriend is next to him with the baby in hand. The first thing he does, he goes, yes, gives a kiss to his girlfriend, gives a kiss to his baby. And then there are 2 people, I don't know who they are, who just tag him and say, really in Spanish, they're like, congratulaciones. But it's like, I don't know who they are, maybe family members, but they look at him and they're like, we're very proud of you. And I was like, Lautaro, you deserve it. You are a hell of a striker. I'm so glad that Diego Milito got in the way to bring you, facilitated your move to Inter Milan. That was a huge responsibility. You were there when Spalletti didn't play you that much. You've become one of the focal points of our team. Your partnership with Lukaku is great. I love your first touch. It's so sexy. And you're a great dude overall. And Rory, I'm gonna we're going to say goodbye to our listeners with a little trivia. Now, who is the player that has won 9 league titles out of 10 in their last 10 seasons as a footballer?
I'm so happy because I know the answer to this. Let's see if any of our remaining listeners, if you're out there, who is the player who's won 9 titles out of the last 10 seasons? Let's go, guys. Come on, guesses.
Or you could say 12 National League titles in the past 15 years as well.
I think we have a winner. Quick off the trigger. I'm just going to put it on the screen.
It's Mr. Kobayashi, my friend Bryce, with Vidal. It's correct. 2006, 2007, and 2008 with Colo-Colo. Then Juventus from 2011 to 2015. Then Bayern Munich from 2015 to 2018. Barcelona 18-19. And finally, of course, Inter Milan. Vidal, your contribution to this title was 1 goal against Juventus. I appreciated it. But I honestly...
We'll take it all day. We'll take that all day, eh?
Fucking fair play. Vidal, you two, I was very worried about you in the team. Too many red cards. You did get your fair share of yellow cards and red cards. But I like to think that if we are where we are now, it's thanks to everybody. So Arturo, I've got to thank for Chile. Weompo. So, yeah, man, I'm so happy that you're part of the team as well. Rory, you're going to send off our listeners. I feel like I've spoken too much between yesterday and today. Oh, should we say one thing to our listeners, Rory?
Go on. Yeah.
Do you want to tell our listeners what is the thing that I love doing the most when I'm a little bit drunk in the streets of Milan? Just
you want me
stopping.
to say it on here, really? You want me to say it on here?
Just literally stopping everybody and saying, Forza Inter! I did terrify. Did I terrify?
People on the street. It was quite funny because as Tommy was shouting at him, like, "Vai, cazzo," whatever he was shouting, they'd walk past me and the missus and say like little comments to themselves. So I was hearing the little comments that Tommy wasn't hearing. But I tell you what, nobody gives a shit, man. Nobody gives a shit. I don't want to hear your snidey comments.
My favorite moment yesterday was in Via Torino when those scooters passed by and they went down and I went, oh, and when they were passing by, I went, ole, ole, ole. And then I did I terrify a few very good-looking Hungarian girls who were just in Milan for the fun of it? Yes, I did. Am I ashamed about it?
It was an interesting tactic. Just shouting Forza Inter at every attractive girl you saw is definitely an interesting tactic.
It was the Ted Bundy Inter supporter technique. It didn't work. Of course, I'm here single as always, but with these beautiful black and blue colors. It was a beautiful celebration. Rory, I'm very thankful. I want to take this moment to say to you in front of our listeners, I'm very, very happy of how this first season of our podcast went. It's just the beginning of something bigger. I've had a lot of fun, and I want to believe that doing this pod contributed to Inter Milan winning the Champions League. Winning the Scudetto. Sorry about that. All right.
All we can say now is all we need for the end of the season now is for Arsenal to lift the Europa League, and it would be the perfect first year for the podcast. So, Bryce, hopefully, see you in the final, son.
And if that doesn't happen, the last thing, the cherry on top, the icing on the cake, I want to say it earlier, if Inter Milan beat Juventus, Inter in, and that means no Champions League for Juventus. Because besides establishing a cycle at that point, we would be doing big damage to our direct opponents. And that is the last thing I have to say. Rory, I will let you say goodbye to our beautiful listeners.
I think that's it. I think we're going to end it with that. Guys, we will see you on Friday where we will no doubt still be talking about the Scudetto, still be talking about fan protests, but we hope you are there to join us. Thanks for watching online and see you on Friday.
Talk to you later, guys. Thank you very much. I will have more stats and more material on Friday, be sure.
No promises.